Right guys, skip forward a day and look at this then. So I've been working on a couple of things and I decided that I wanted to throw the transmission in a citric acid bath, because I started to have a look at it and see if I could move anything, and it was absolutely locked solid, you know, completely solid. So the only way this thing was ever going to come apart was with chemical cleaning, I think, because obviously just blasting it isn't going to do anything. You're not going to be able to get all the rust out which is inside all the parts, holding them together and everything like that. So this is sat in a citric acid bath overnight. As you can see, it's still wet and I haven't cleaned it up or anything like that, so you can see rust forming again already. But it is looking, let's have a look, it's looking infinitely better already. And one of the things I've been able to do then is on the front, the nose, where it goes into the bearing carrier. Obviously this was all completely full of rust. There's a huge surface area, so that would never come off. But now with the citric acid, it's started to loosen itself off, so it's coming apart. So I'm hoping these rails are going to do the same thing, because they were completely locked solid. The amount of force you start putting through those to get them to move probably smash the case. So we'll see if it will start to come apart. Not sure if it will or not, but the nose is just about to come off, which is great news. And this is all due to the chemical cleaning, which is the only way forward, I think, with something like this. You know, throw it in a bath of dip, it'll get in everywhere, start destroying all the rust without damaging the metalwork, and that's when you can move on to start taking it apart. So here we go, let's see if we can one-handed remove this. This is the wrong hand, by the way. Loosened it off. Ah, look at this. Oh yeah, that is so you can see why this would never come apart without chemical cleaning. So the rust, the surface area of the rust is huge on here. The amount of force needed to remove that would damage all the flange and destroy it. So you have to get something in there to kill it, to kill all the rust, so you can start taking it apart. And this is exactly what we've done there with citric acid. So that is great, citric acid. I'm really pleased with that. Whether everything else is going to come out all right, I'm not sure, but you can see the way it goes in there. If you've got the wire wheel on that, it'll look much better. One bolt broke off, unfortunately. Have to get that out. But that nose bearing carrier is probably recoverable with a bit of work and everything. Nose gear is not going to be recoverable though, by the looks of it. But we're going to try and we're going to try and remove some rails now and see if they come apart. So let's start beating it a bit and see if it starts to move or not.
One way to learn a better or the best way of doing anything is to watch and analyze the skill of an expert. Expert. One way to learn a better or the best way of doing anything is to watch and analyze the skill of an expert. Expert. One way to learn a better or the best way of doing anything is to watch and analyze the skill of an expert. Expert. To learn a better or the best way of doing anything is to watch and analyze the skill of an expert.
this.
This is it then. You could see me going to town on it in that video there. Unfortunately, when it comes to things like this, you gotta be harsh with it, because it isn't coming apart any other way. It's got to be beaten to get it out. And when the parts are going to be probably not good anyway, I mean, you've got nothing to lose. You just got to try and save the case if you can. That's what my major aim was. So what's the consensus then, guys? What do we reckon? Do we reckon this is recoverable or not? Well, the answer to that is, yeah, not really. Of course, all the gears, they are damaged, pitted. Whether this is all rust pitting or wear pitting, who knows? You know, overall it doesn't look terrible, but yeah, it's not usable. Reverse gear, I think, yeah, there's pitting there. You don't really use reverse a huge amount. If you had to, if there were no more reverse gears left in the world, I reckon that could possibly be savable. Same for the main shaft. Obviously I haven't measured it or anything like that, but maybe if it came down to it and there were none left in the world, you might be able to use it again. So, but this is going to be for a cutaway box, isn't it, really? Shifter rail, excuse me, the yokes, whatever they are called, the forks, they're probably still recoverable actually. The other one is looking all right as well, somewhere, but nothing terrible. So these are actually recoverable. This rail maybe, if you had to at a push. These are dead. The bearing carrier, like we said, was survived. I'm not even going to bother. The cluster gear is totally dead, as we'd expect. Case, yeah, the case needs blasting still, but I can got to the bits I can on the outside, and it's cleaned up. You know, it's cleaned up nice. But of course, this doesn't matter. What matters is inside. So let's have a look if we can see. So that is all right. The rear portion, the thrust washer, had scoring on it, and I can see matching scoring down here, but it's not totally eaten it to, you know, complete pieces. Probably still usable, that case, as it is, I reckon. Interestingly, what have we got? This is 43. Unfortunately, I don't know date codes. It's 43, but the cluster gear came out as 43 dated as well on the end. Can we see? Let's have a look. Yeah, there's 843. So it looks like this is obviously the original components for him here. But not usable, sadly. But the case is probably recoverable then, guys. So what do we reckon overall? This was supposed to be a training case then, to be cut apart. I knew all the inner components would be unusable. Hoping the case was had survived and could be used. But of course, then that defeats the point of cutting up this case, because if this case is good, that's there's no, I'm not going to be cutting it into pieces. So where have we ended up back? Square zero, really. We've got components to make up a training box, which is great, unusable components, that's good, okay. But the major thing which we're trying to get hold of is a case to cut open, and I need to find a bad case, and this one seems to have survived actually. So overall, it's for what we were trying to aim to do with it. Yeah, not great, but overall, I think we saved a case there. We didn't destroy it getting apart the really, really rusty stuff, So I'm quite pleased with that. That's the first really rusty case I've had to get apart. Looks like it can be done then, guys. But I reckon the only way forward with it is the citric acid bath first, initially, to start eating away at that rust. Because I tried to move some of those rails straight away, and they were having none of it. Before I put it in the citric acid, they were lock solid, but after the citric acid overnight, things started to move. This actually, you could see in the video, the sped up video, that things started to move inside the box. It all freed itself up, so that's pretty impressive for how awful it was, really. But yeah, when it comes to buying rusty cases like this, guys, I don't think it's worth really spending a huge amount of money. You may see a nice Ford Mark case and be like, oh yeah, that's great, I'll put some money in that, but at the end of the day, everything's going to come out. Even if it comes out, you get it apart in one piece, guys, it's going to come out, bits are not going to be usable. The case may be worn on those bearing faces in it, so it's junk as well. So you could just end up paying a lot of money for junk, and that's if you can even get it apart in the first place without cracking it or damaging it or finding damage in it. So don't pay a lot for rusty stuff, guys, unfortunately. But there you go, that is the case done. So that's number one. It's got further cleaning to do. I'll have to send it to a blasters to get the inside done, because I can't really do that myself. Or I could acid dip it, we'll see. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's keep on going.